Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. We're excited to get started. This is always a really popular call for us.
Hmm.
Come on in. Beautiful. We're going to get started here in a moment. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get started and get into all things Gua Sha. We're super excited to be kind of doing this tutorial with you. We're excited to be showing it off. All of that.
Hmm.
Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and start. We're probably going to have people who are kind of trickling in as we're going along here, and we'll repeat lots of information as we need to. Any information that you're wondering about, you can absolutely put it in the chat. Hi, Pam. Oh, I love that Pam's here. I love seeing so many familiar names. We do these live calls, in and out throughout the month, and so it's nice when people are hopping on and joining with us. Let's get into it. So, welcome. My name's Kate, and I am excited for you guys to be here for the Gua Sha tutorial, for us to talk about our Gua Sha stone. I'm a licensed esthetician and have been for 11 years, so feel very comfortable talking about skin and different ways to work with the skin. I have with me both Rachel and Grace. And Rachel, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure, yeah. Rachel, with the operating officer of Annmarie Skincare, and I've been kind of down a little rabbit hole journey of massage, lymphatic drainage, and Gua Sha, and just understanding the techniques and creating, I guess, the best methods. And I guess, a little junkie with skincare and just beautifying in general. So massage and all things in that realm are my forte. So yeah.
Yay. This is going to be really lovely. Rachel's insight, especially with the gua sha, is really key here. I also have Grace on the call, and Grace, I won't make you go off mute, but as you have questions in the chat, you might see Grace answer them. You might also see Emily answer them. There are several of us on the team who might be responding to you. Grace is also a pretty key support with the promos and things like that. So you might hear her come off mute later to share some info or something like that. Grace, do you want to wave so we can at least find you? Yeah, there she is. There's Grace. Grace, anything you want to add actually about the maintenance of the call, like something like discounts or your video or mute or something like that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, welcome everyone. We're so excited that you're here. We would love to see your face if you can go off camera, but we know that some of you are at work, so no worries if not. We do ask that we keep your sound on mute if possible during the call, just so we can kind of keep background noise to a minimum. And then if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll be answering them throughout the call, and then Emily and I will be in there as well. But yeah, I think that's it.
Great.
Amazing. Great. Okay. Well, so as we start to walk through this and get through it, I'm going to get ready and put my headband on.
Mhm.
We're going to go through a full Gua Sha routine today. It's deeply relaxing, it's rejuvenating, it's very great for just stimulating lymphatic drainage, circulation, all of the things, just like really increasing your radiance. If you're new to it or if you've been doing it for a while, I think this routine and this call will be very helpful for you. Um, so as we get started, if you have a headband, if you have our headband, you're more than welcome to put it on now. I like it just because if I spray my face and put oil, I don't want it all in my hair, and it's really nice to just keep your hair out of your face. Um, okay, before we actually dive in, I just want to mention the codes that we and the discounts and the giveaways that we were talking about. We are going to be doing a few giveaways, so just keep your ears open for those. I think we're going to be doing quite a few. And then also, we're going to be giving 20% off on the Gua Sha tool and any facial oil that you like from now until an hour after the call ends. So 12 p.m. Pacific time is when the code will end. And that code is ASC Live 23. ASC is in Annmarie Skincare Live 23. So again, that's 20% off for the Gua Sha stone and a facial oil. So, and Grace will put that in the chat, and then we'll probably mention it numerous times throughout the call.
Yeah, perfect. So we're gonna get into the gua sha and sharing not just like the tutorial, but how to use this within your greater Annmarie skincare routine. So what other products pair really nicely with it, how we like to use it with other products, all of that, so that you're able to kind of, slip this into an already solid skincare foundation there.
Perfect. Okay, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the nephrite in general. So, well, first, it is a nephrite jade Gua Sha. Nephrite, there's multiple colors. There's green, there's black. This is a black nephrite, so it's not technically black like obsidian, but it is a dark, dark, dark green shade if you see it. If you don't have it, you can get it on our site. Grace will put the link in the chat. We're also going to be doing giveaways, so keep your eyes open or your ears open for that. But this Gua Sha stone is custom created for us. We spent probably about 2 years designing it and working with a small manufacturer in a small province in China. So Gua Sha is traditional a Chinese practice designed to improve circulation, reduce tension in your skin, in your face, in your muscles, your jaw, promote lymphatic drainage, really increase circulation and radiance in your skin. And when pairing with a great oil and different products, it could really enhance your routine. I personally like to do it probably 5 days a week, even if it's just a few minutes, even if it's not like a full routine. So even if I'm feeling like a little tired, I could just do my eyebrows, or I might just do my jaw if I'm feeling tension, or I might want to do like a little bit of massage in my neck and my decolletage. What else about the nephrite? If you're not familiar with nephrite in general, the nephrite jade, it is known to be a brilliant healer. It is one of the best stones for women and reproductive health and all things related to that. Also, traditionally, when they would carve it, it had a shape of a kidney. So, in old ancient Chinese medicine, they say that it helps with kidney disease. Who knows if that's, folklore or whatever, but that's really exciting. And then a lot of things just in regards to external healing and your nervous system and emotional state of being. So there's a lot of things that nephrite can assist with there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So using the nephrite, let's get into like actually putting it on the face. Now, the routine that we're doing here is a little bit longer than I do every day. If I'm doing this long of a routine, like I'm really committing the time to it. I do this pretty frequently, just using the gua sha, but I'm usually doing shorter. And most days I just keep it in my bathroom and I'll do it like as I'm cleansing or as I'm applying my oil. But about once a week, ideally, is when I drop in and really do a full session like this. And before I'm really even starting, I like to create the space for myself. So I'm making sure that I have enough time, I'm slowing down, I'm finding a quiet place, taking a deep breath. It's nice to do it in a mirror, and if you're on your phone, like that's good too. I sometimes will do it in the shower if I'm doing just like a quick go through. But when I'm doing the full routine, I really like to see it move on my face. So a mirror is super helpful. Um, yeah, as you're kind of watching yourself do it too.
Sweet. Yeah. And if you're adding questions in the chat, if we don't get to them from our team who's on this call, we will have a dedicated time towards the end for questions and answers. So please add your questions as they pop up. So I'm going to walk through what I use. And as Kate mentioned, it's really great to have your space and your dedicated area and just like really create that intention and that ritual. If you do work at a desk, it's also really nice to have it on your desk so that if you're on a call where maybe you can be off video, it's really nice to just do it while you're on that call. I always like to use an oil and toning mist. So I'm going to show you which ones I use. I also make sure that I have a clean face. So this morning I actually did the pearl mask earlier, and then I just have serum and oil on my skin right now. So you can see it's already a little oily, but I'm still going to add more. So I'm going to mist our botanical hydration mist. Obsessed with that one. And then I'll use a fair amount of oil. And so I particularly love the rejuvenating facial oil. I feel like this one's great for a lot of skin types. I'm going to do 2 pumps just to be on the safe side. And that's how much that would look like. And you could always throughout your routine add more. You don't want it to be you don't want it to be dry. You want it to be pretty oily so that your gua sha stone can glide easily along your skin. Okay.
Perfect. So as we're going along here, and you may have already added your oil, I'm about to do mine too. But this feels like a really good time. Like as we're getting ready, we're putting the oil on our face to maybe do our first giveaway. And so the question for this, and I'm going to be putting my toning mist and my oil on kind of as we're doing this, is how long have you been using your gua sha or a similar tool? And put your answers in the chat, and then we'll pick our winner here in a minute. But as you're answering that, I'm gonna walk through how I'm prepping. I also like the same prep products that Rachel does, the Botanical Hydration Mist. This one is so beautiful for skin that gets dry, skin that gets sensitive, aging skin. I like this one a lot, especially this time of year. So this is the one that I use most days. And I'm just doing, a light mist, enough that my skin feels damp but not dripping. And then I'm going to be using the same oil. I'm using the rejuvenating facial oil, which is a big favorite of mine in general, but especially in using it with the gua sha. I feel like showing up for the intention of like really changing my skin. This is the oil that I want to be using. This is the oil that I want to be incorporating into that one. The rejuvenating facial oil is just kind of like in a class of its own. Mine's kind of low, so I'm actually gonna tip it into my hands. But um yeah, the formulation process with this one is totally different than we've done with the others. Um the ingredient selection, the quality, it's just if you're looking for a facial oil that's really ready to be actively addressing signs of aging, the rejuvenating facial oil is where it's at. So I've got about this much, you can see here, and I'm gonna just gently apply it to the face. It's important as we're getting the oil on the face that we are keeping in mind that we want slip on the skin. And like Rachel said, we don't need it to be like a ton. We're not trying to have this like dripping off the face or anything like that, but a good amount of slip, maybe a little bit more than you would do for your morning routine so that the gua sha has something to glide. And I'm going to apply down on my neck too, because I'm going to be doing the neck here. But yeah, with that, Grace, do you want to pick a winner?
Of course I do. Our winner is Susan Whitmore. So Susan, you won the Gua Sha. Exciting. I'm going to message you directly on next steps on how to kind of get that sent out to you and some of your information. But I'm so excited for you to try it.
Amazing. I'm seeing so many people who have been using this for a long time, which lets me say if you want to go ahead and take a before photo, and then when you're done, you can compare and take an after photo just of this session that we're doing today, just so you can follow along and do it with us and see the results firsthand. And some of you you've had it for a long time, but you haven't used it in a long time. So I'm really hoping that watching this routine can encourage you and inspire you to start doing it, whether it's daily or a few times a week.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Exciting.
Um, Perfect. Okay. Should we jump in? Let's
Let's do it.
see. Rachel, there are a couple things to remember, and I feel like you speak to this a little bit better than I do as far as like the angles and pressure and all of that.
Yeah. So I always say you don't want to dig into your skin. I think of my brother sometimes and he's like, yes, really, really getting in it. And I'm like, just be gentle with your skin. Be gentle with your muscles. You want to have medium pressure. You want to glide it along your skin at a slight angle, so where it's almost flat. You don't want to do a 90-degree angle. You want to have it just slight angled on your skin. And again, medium pressure, you don't want it to hurt. You don't want it to feel intense. That's not the goal here. Even lymphatic drainage, even just light pressure like this helps stimulation and drainage. So you don't need to do anything really vigorous and intense. Don't forget to enjoy it. Make sure you're using a facial oil that you love. Breathe, set intention, and yeah, I think that's about it.
Perfect. So I'm gonna get started now. I'm gonna be talking through it. Rachel's going to be doing it as I'm talking through it. So you might look at both of us as I'm like speaking to you. It might make more sense to look to Rachel or me, but between the two of us, yeah, we're gonna get you through it. So before I even start, when I'm doing like a full routine, I do usually kind of touch my chest and my neck. I'm kind of waking up my lymphatic system. I'm kind of waking up my body. When I'm doing a longer routine, I do usually do it in the morning. So this is also kind of just waking up and touching, checking in with my body as well. I've seen some routines where people will get all the way under the arms and massage there. That's not my norm. I kind of just am working in this area here, the neck and the chest. And yeah, both like warming up my fingers, warming up my body. Obviously, I've already applied the toning mist in the oil, but this would be where I'm doing that also. And then my like direction, I'm going to be starting with the neck and décolleté and moving upward. And as we're moving the stone, there are lots of techniques and tricks, but the general rule of thumb is kind of like up and out. We're moving upwards and we're moving out of the center of the face. And so starting here with the back of the neck, I am going to just take my little stone and I'm taking this kind of like wider swoop here that you can see. And I'm just kind of gently, gently, gently starting and then moving up to my hairline. I don't know how well we can see that here, but oh, yeah. And I do about 5 to 7 passes with this. I also kind of will sometimes wiggle when I get towards the top.
Mhm.
And you can really feel everything just kind of softening, releasing. This is another reason why when I'm starting this, I'm very intentional about kind of like taking deep breaths and calming my body down. Because if you're walking into this with a lot of tension already, then you're kind of just setting up more work for yourself going into it. And I've moved over to my other side here. I'm not going like right over the spine. And this is going to be true on the front as well. I'm kind of going to the side of it. And I forgot my headband, Rachel. That was a good, should have grabbed it.
And
Yeah.
remember when you're around your neck, your lymphatic system is very strong here. So you definitely want to remember to do that light pressure, um,
Hmm.
light to medium pressure, and not go too intense here.
Hmm. Yeah. And then when the back of the neck feels complete, I'm coming to the sides of the neck. And so I'm not going all the way out to the collarbone, but right around the base of the neck. And then I'm just moving my tool upward. Oh, that feels so good for me. And same amount of passes, about 5 to 7 passes per side. Coming over to the other side. I get a lot of questions in the consultations about the neck area and tending to the neck area and kind of maintaining the lift of the neck area. And I'm gonna also kind of, so I've done the back of the neck, the side of the neck. I'm gonna do towards the front. Again, I'm not going over this center part. We don't need to go over the throat, but getting in a little bit closer and just like coming all the way up under the chin. I get a lot of questions about the neck and tending to the neck and helping maintain the lift of the neck area. The neck is one of those areas that sometimes is under addressed, and then all of a sudden your face looks nice and youthful, but your neck can look start to show the signs of aging in ways that you maybe don't prefer. And the gua sha is one of the first like tools that I'm reaching for, first things I'm recommending for the neck area, and
Mhm.
really the whole face in general, because we don't, we think about like skin drooping and skin kind of changing in the lift, and we want to focus on those areas that are drooping, but it's this whole interconnected muscular and fascia system. And so sometimes you might see drooping along the cheek or the jaw because the neck is really tight. And so making sure to incorporate more than just the face and more than just the neck as you are going through your routine is really what's going to kind of set this apart. Um, and I hope you took a before picture. I'm glad Rachel mentioned that. I forgot. So just have to trust this is this is working. So after we've done the neck, I'm going to come up and do kind of the jawline and the cheeks here. And so I honestly do either this bigger curved side or this smaller curved side along my jaw. Rich, which one do you like to use?
I like to do this short little one here. This was designed intentionally to kind of hook underneath your jawline to kind of really sculpt that area. So that's what I prefer. But honestly, this tool, like it's made so you can play with it and explore what works for you. So
Mhm.
I find that it works a different way.
Oh man, this feels so good. I can feel I've just had like tension kind of at the side of my jaw. And so this is also like just a massage feeling too. And you'll notice I'm doing a little bit of a wiggle kind of when I'm getting right towards my hairline here. That is just another helpful way to kind of break up some puffiness, move anything that's kind of static or standing, and also feels really good with
Mhm.
the muscle underlying. Well, I've moved over to the other side. Oh man, that feels great. I feel like I want to keep doing the jawline forever. But I
That's a good
won't.
thing to mention that if you're not doing it with people and you have the time, if you want to dedicate more time in one area, go for it. It's your body letting you know that it needs a little extra love there.
Mm. Okay, now moving up to the cheek area, I again kind of play with whether I'm doing it shaped this way. This is a really perfect fit here. I will sometimes flip it and go this way too. I just explore here. The tool has a lot of really neat features to it, and I'll talk about the comb here in a moment. The comb is one of my favorite parts of this. And I'm coming just up, moving this up and out. My skin is still fairly taut, but if you are someone who has a lot of motion with your skin, it can be helpful sometimes to hold it. Yeah. I'm gonna do my other side.
I just want to call out, like I just did this one side, you can see such a difference right here with the puffiness. Like this side's
Mm,
kind of just sagging and this one's lifted, like a
mm,
mini facelift. And if I don't know what those are like, but I'd imagine.
uh-huh.
Well, show us again. It's not very nice.
My skin. I already started on the other side, but I was mentioning how this side was still droopy and this side was enhanced more. but I've already started on the other side.
All right, after we feel complete with the cheeks, a thing that I like to come in and do is use the comb side of this tool. Now, if you don't have a comb, you can still kind of just gently move it, but the comb makes a lot of difference. I like to do it in the areas where I'm starting to see some smile lines, maybe a little bit of the creasing in the nasal labial folds, but I'm just kind of moving this around. And just like a gentle calming feel. I'm not sure what word you would use for this. Almost feathering.
Feathering.
Yeah. You can go around the lip. This is a really nice one if you're someone who is experiencing lines on the top of the lip. Lines are creasing from, maybe smoking or drinking out of a straw. I like this one. And I like it kind of in the side of the face here too. And this is one of the cool things. I'll oftentimes keep this on my desk, and if I'm like in a meeting, I'll hop in and I'll put a facial oil on, and I'll just be doing this while the meeting's going on. It doesn't take a lot of thought, just kind of combing things out. Feels pretty good. Mm. Okay. Should we get into the under the eye area?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Now, this is another spot where this unique design for us is important because this really beautiful shape here fits perfectly under the eye area. And I'm still going up and out. I'm extra mindful of my pressure here. The eye area is super, super delicate. And so if we weren't being very cautious before, we are definitely being super cautious now. And this is another part of the treatment that I do quite a bit. If I've had a night where I didn't
I've
sleep very
lost it somehow.
well, or I am just like extra worn, I will spend extra time doing the eye area with my gua sha. I'm coming over to the other side.
And I like to switch. I like to start this way and kind of glide the smooth area. And then once after I've done a couple of sweeps there, I'll flip it.
Rachel, do you want to speak to the lip of the gua sha here?
Yeah, I like using that on the forehead specifically.
Mhm.
You will end up using it somewhere else if you're flipping and trying to get symmetry there, but on the forehead specifically, I'll definitely speak to that.
And right now, I'm spending a little bit of extra time on my eyes. I won't go too long here, but I can tell this is just an area that feels really, really good. And the shape of this, I know I called this out before, but the shape just fits the face so perfectly. Up and out.
And if you have extra puffiness here in your little folds, you can definitely do some feathering here as well. So just gentle, light sweeping motions here to kind of move that out.
Oh man, that feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you're doing this at home, spend as long as you want on any of these areas. So you can take extra time with the eyes, neck, all of the parts of the face. I'm gonna keep moving it forward, and get into the forehead here. So I, again, am using this kind of more flat side of this. And I like to start kind of along my brow and glide upward toward my hairline.
I'm going to speak to what I like to do. I like to use this lip here. And so I like to hold my brow and slowly glide it up and then give yourself a wiggle as you get to your hairline. And this lip here, I feel like allows to kind of, I don't want to say dig, but get in there a little bit more. than just going flat, which is kind of nice if you have extra forehead wrinkles or even tension in your forehead.
That feels so good.
It's also nice to hold your brow as you're moving up because you don't want to stretch it out.
Well, I also like to take the comb here, and I think someone had asked ahead of time, like, how are we addressing 11 lines? And this is the thing that I do definitely work on. I take the comb and I gently feather in between here. And I'll also go up above my brow and kind of right in this area here. My facial structure and the way that I hold tension, sometimes I lift my brows, and so I'll notice some creasing above the brows. So part of this for me is actually getting the brow to relax a little bit. Which can feel counterintuitive because it's not necessarily an up and out motion. It's just kind of a massaging and working with the muscle here. And you might have areas of your face like that. You might have areas of your face where you hold tension in a certain way. And so kind of checking in with your body, checking in with your face, with the kind of features of this Gua Sha tool, you've got a lot of ways to incorporate this that works for your skin. But specifically for creasing in between the eyes, I not only do feathering, right in this 11s area, but I'll also take the kind of edge of the Gua Sha tool and really get up under the brow. I don't go all the way across, but this is a great way to kind of release tension that is happening in between the brow here.
And I just want to note that I've only done this side. Look how high that brow is. I've only done this left brow area just to show you. And this is, I'm going to start on the other side now. This is the feathering that Kate's mentioning. Also, it's just light pressure
Mhm.
to kind of stimulate and move some circulation there. And if you notice your skin might be a little bit red, that's totally normal. Just make sure you're doing your medium pressure and you're not going too rough on your skin.
Yeah. And that is important. I feel like I'll work with some, folks sometime that feel like, more pressure's better. You're like making a bigger difference faster. And this gua sha is one of those really beautiful, like ancient practices that is leaning into the consistency of it more than like the immediate impact. And although you do notice an immediate impact, I always notice it along the jawline and under the eyes. Some people notice it between the brows. Your skin will be different, but this isn't going to be like harder is better situation by any means. And both of us mentioned that when we do our routines, we maybe don't do as thorough of a routine as this. We might do a little bit shorter. And what I keep coming back to is committing to the consistency with it. And so I keep it in my bathroom. I have one in my bathroom and one on my desk. And I'm very intentional. At minimum, when I'm putting my facial oil on, just doing a little bit of either kind of a swipe under my eyes, taking the feathering side of this and doing just gently around the brow area. I don't always do the full, this is upwards of a 30-minute routine. You don't have to commit that amount of time to it, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, wherever it fits best, morning or evening, is what's really going to help to change the skin.
I'm
Yeah.
going to do some final sweeping motions on the brow. I know we touched a little bit on the brow for the feathering and for the pressure and the little pointed areas. But I think it's nice to, as you're finishing up, to do some sweeping motions on your brow and then your whole face. So, go over your cheek and your jaw a little bit more. And I just want to mention, as you're going over your eyelid, make sure that pressure, of course, is not too intense and you're not going over your eyeball. You're just going over your brow here.
And like Rachel mentioned, some redness is normal. My skin's a little bit pinker than normal. We're increasing the blood flow to the skin quite a bit. And so this isn't going to stick around. This is going to fade. I mean, for me, it'll probably fade pretty quickly. Everybody's
Mhm.
vascular system is different, but this, I would not feel concerned by a little bit of redness with this. And we're doing 20% off the Gua Sha today. And this is a really good chance to not only snag the Gua Sha, especially if you don't have one, and especially ours. I know Rachel mentioned this is a nephrite jade. There are a ton of Gua Sha tools on the market. There's so many. And there are lots of really solid ones. Ours is the certified nephrite jade, and jade is an important stone. Even if you set aside kind of the energetics of it, jade holds on to its temperature really nicely. And so we use this and we have used this in facial treatments. I have used this in facial treatments because you can really kind of lean into this being cooler and depuffing, which is what I do most of the time. It's on my desk, and so it naturally is kind of the cooler temperature. You can also heat it a little bit. Sometimes I'll dip it into some warm water, especially if I'm working to soothe lines in between the brow here, and it'll hold on to that heat for a good while as I'm going throughout in a way that other stones don't. And so that is valuable. And then this being a custom design, I've never seen another gua sha on the market with the comb feature. And I use the comb feature so much, especially when I'm doing quicker treatments, especially when I'm doing like just quick in the shower. I use the comb quite a bit. So 20% off, and Rachel, you might share the code again because I don't remember what it was.
ASC Live 23.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to confirm that. Yep, that is it.
Thanks,
Um,
Grace. Grace is in the chat. And that also is good for facial oil. Any of our facial oils today, your favorite moisturizer. Again, we mentioned the rejuvenating facial oil, big fan. Divine Woman is another one that's really, really great for this treatment. I use this one quite a bit. Anti-aging. If you've been a customer of ours for a while, you probably have a favorite. And so feel free to restock or to try one that you maybe haven't tried before. It's a good opportunity for that. So
how does your skin feel?
soft. Yeah, really soft, nice and depuffed. One of the things I like about doing the gua sha with the facial oil, because sometimes I'll do it at the beginning of my treatment with my cleansing oil, but the way that the oil absorbs as a last step is so different using the gua sha treatment. And if you've done it this way at home, if you feel like you're oily still, if you've over oiled or you feel like you're just like a little bit dewier than you might want to be going out into the world, you can do a little bit of your toning mist over the top of it, and that's going to help, just kind of soften that oiliness a little bit. I like looking really dewy, so I'm leaving it, but you have that option. So wanted to introduce it.
Amazing. Okay. I'm going to dive into the next giveaway, and then I want to open it up for Q&A because there's a lot of questions in here that we want to get to. So this next one, if you want to plug into the chat, we're going to be giving away your favorite facial oil to pair with your Gua Sha. So if you want to add in there, what is your favorite facial oil and why? What do you love about it? And then Grace will pick a winner in a little bit.
I have to pull up the chat because I just want to see what everybody's
There are
favorite is.
so many questions. It's exciting. And if you are asking if there will be a recording, there will be a recording. So we will send it out.
Ooh, sensitive skin. I love that one.
Anti-aging. Yeah, again, mine is the rejuvenating facial oil. I feel like it's really, really concentrated and great for aging with
Mhm.
all of the oils that are in there, but it's also great for someone who doesn't want super heavy. So it kind of like meets both worlds in that
Mhm. Yeah. I feel like it feels like a treatment oil when I do the
way.
rejuvenating facial oil. It just really pairs so nicely with Gua Sha. I
Mhm.
also really like the Divine Woman.
Yeah.
And this one, I think part of it is it just feels so alive and so fresh, and part of it feels like extra close to Annmarie, and that's nice too. Someone mentioned that they like the herbal facial oil for sensitive skin.
Mm.
Depending on how sensitive your skin is, you might also like the Divine Woman. It's a lot of the herbs that we have chosen for that are supportive for skin that gets sensitive too. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and the Divine Woman, just as a reminder, is only a limited edition product that there's a small batch made every year. So if you have an opportunity to get it, I would say get it before it sells out because I don't know when it will be selling out before the next launch.
Yeah. I see lots of anti-aging facial oil fans. I love a good anti-aging facial oil. Very classic, very tried and true, very moisturizing. If you are listening and you're like, I'm so dry, dry is my biggest concern. Dryness is what I'm working on. The anti-aging is probably where I would direct you.
Grace, do you want to go ahead and choose a winner?
Yes. So our winner is Melanie Ulrich. So Melanie, oh, you're right there. Hi. But you won your favorite facial oil. So go ahead and direct message me your email and what your favorite facial oil is, and I'll get that sent out to you.
Congrats. Yay, that's a good one.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, let's dive into the Q&A. Kate, I can start from the bottom and just
Yeah.
start reading them off to you. So you want to talk about what oil might be best for combination skin?
Of course. I would, on impulse, well, more than impulse, on good information, probably direct you to the herbal facial oil for normal and combination skin. This is a really good oil that kind of bridges the gap between skin that is maybe on the drier side, skin that's aging, or skin that maybe dances in a couple different realms. It's a grapeseed oil base, so a little bit lighter than the rejuvenating or the anti-aging, but then the herbs that we've chosen in this are really supporting balancing the skin. And so for somebody who is truly combo, this is a really good one, the herbal facial oil for normal and combo skin.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hmm.
Somebody asked, can you overdo it? I don't know where this question was, but I'm going to find it. But somebody said, can you overdo it with the gua sha? Like, can you do it every day? Is there too much? Uh, you want to go ahead and answer that one?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think yes, you could overdo it. I do think it would take quite a bit because at some point, right, like we're finding the middle ground where we're working with both the skin, the lymphatic system, our fascia, our muscles. Like at some point your body doesn't want that much happening in one area, which would be true for anything. You know, if you're working out, you're not going to spend all day doing like just the same movement or just arms over and over. So I think probably upwards of an hour max a day would be where I would recommend it. For most people, I feel like that would be a lot in general, so you don't have to go that hard. We've kind of touched on throughout that you can do shorter treatments more consistently, and that also is supportive. But um, yeah, that would be probably the max recommendation I would recommend. And it can vary also if you're very sensitive or maybe have pronounced drooping or aging. You might just be mindful to be gentle with your skin. Um, you know, you know your skin, so you can kind of know what you can handle there. But yeah, I bet max an hour in a day would be what I would say.
Okay, perfect. We have a couple people asking about cleaning. So I just want to mention that you should clean your stone. Just a little soap and water. When I say soap, rosemary peppermint body wash is great. Or when you're cleansing your face with your aloe cleanser, just use your hands and massage a little on there, and then rinse it with warm water and dry it with a towel. And then somebody else asked how often you could do it every time, and then how to recharge it. It's nice if you have any stone, if you have selenite, to place your stone on selenite, and that recharges your stone. You don't have to do that. I think also just, holding your stone and feeling the energetic properties and intentionally resetting it is nice as well. But if you have selenite, placing it on or near selenite will recharge your stones.
Mhm. Full moon also, which we don't have to spend too long in that, but if your bathroom is near a window, maybe resting it in the window the night before a full moon can be a good way to recharge your stone as well.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And then also somebody asked, what about the sides of the nose? And I can recommend what I would do. And then Kate, if you want to touch on that. So you could just do light feathering like this, just depending on what you're trying to achieve. And then you would glide it into your folds here,
Mhm.
as we touched on a little bit earlier. And you would do that on both sides.
Mhm.
What about you?
Yeah, that's more or less what I would do too. The nose area, the side of the nose especially, is also an area that's really delicate, so being extra mindful of the pressure. Um, Also, if your concern is kind of the nasolabial fold here, you can come a little bit lower, also the comb. So
Mm,
holding the skin taut, right, and just kind of combing through to break up some of that creasing or tension. And again, it kind of depends on what your concern is with it, but those are good options for you.
that's great. Thank you. And then now this one I would like for you to dive into a little bit. Somebody's asking, can you change up your facial oil or should you stick to the same one for a certain period of time?
This is always such a fun question because yes, you can either are good. I think that naturally, especially with our demographic being largely female, like your body changes with the seasons, your body changes throughout your life. And so as you're using Annmarie skincare, you probably are just going to naturally change your facial oil. Maybe not. Maybe you started with the one you know you love and you use it forever, and that's great. And that's also fine. But I find that for my skin, some seasons I need something that's a little bit lighter. A lot more often in the summer, I'll use an herbal facial oil, maybe the sensitive skin one. Um, Not as often anymore. I would sometimes use the herbal facial oil for oily skin in the summer, but just with it being like warmer, I'm naturally dewier. And sometimes even throughout my cycle, if I'm in certain phases of my cycle, I need a little bit more moisture than I do others. So it really comes down to you in your body and what you need. And like I said, some people, they start with the anti-aging facial oil and they're so smitten and they don't change. And that's not wrong either. One of the really cool things about Annmarie skincare is the way you can kind of like meld and dance with the line for it to consistently fit your needs. And that's true for the oils as well. So some people do swap in and out, some people don't. I think sometimes what people are wondering is like, is it less effective over time? And this isn't necessarily the case. It's not like a supplement. I do think if you stop one, use another, and then reintegrate, maybe the one former, that you kind of see a renewed experience of the benefits of that one. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't working before and working consistently. You just are kind of getting fresh exposure to it. So that's a very long non-answer. That is, you can do either.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Someone else is asking, Dan, you were talking about you didn't apply a serum or an eye cream. Do you recommend washing your face after this so you can apply all of your products again? That's a tricky one. I'll answer and then I would love to hear Kate's thoughts. So I personally did do that. I applied everything before and then I reapplied my oil. If I didn't do that, I personally wouldn't wash it all off because you have all this really juicy oil penetrated into your skin now. I would see how my skin feels. If it needs a little extra oomph, I might pat it with a towel and then mist it serum and apply oil again. But you might just be okay as it is.
Yeah. Pretty much the same. I don't know an instance that I would wash it off unless I had just used tons and tons of oil or maybe tried out an oil that wasn't ours that was like really heavy or something then maybe I'd wash it off, but generally I leave it on. I will put on my eye cream. I'm pretty religious with my eye cream. Um, so I can do that right now. And if you are doing this like in the morning and you're about to go out in the world, do put your sunlove on. That is another thing to be mindful to apply. With your sunlove being your final step, but otherwise I don't rinse anything, I don't remove anything. I have over oiled before, and like Rachel said, just like lightly damp washcloth, just pressing it into the skin is really a quick way to help remove some of the excess oil, but otherwise I don't really do too much extra.
Awesome. Thank you. Someone is also asking about consistency and quick lifts. I'll just touch on that briefly. It could be a quick lift, as we mentioned, if you're on a call or if you just want a quick thing in the morning, you could just do a couple of areas, but you will see more benefits with long-term and extended use and doing it daily or a couple of times a week. And just a reminder, if you have questions, plug them into the chat. We have about 10 more minutes, so we do want to get to those. We did touch on using light or medium pressure with your Gua Sha stone. Also, how the nephrite stays cool. Someone was asking about the effects of cooling or warm. It does stay pretty cool, so that is one positive thing about this one. I think that is all of. Oh, somebody asked, is it okay to do glass in front of my infrared light? I do it all the time. So yes, I only know that from experience. I don't know that from research, but I do it all the time as well. So you'll be fine. Okay. We will have a recording. Multiple people have asked, so we will send this out. We are also working on a more in-depth webinar that Kate will probably be leading for this Gua Sha tutorial. So stay tuned for that. You will see that here.
Rachel, someone, and I might be getting out of order of the questions that you're going through, but this is a good question, and I think you're best to answer it. Someone asked if Gua Sha can replace facial exercises.
I remember seeing that one. So I don't think so. I think it's a very different thing. How to explain it? So facial exercise is like one of my favorite is that. That's not the only thing, but you'll do it like a lot, maybe 20, 30 times. And you feel this like really intense stretch and like a workout in your neck. And I think that's so essential for modern day life. I mean, if you're a new mom and you're breastfeeding and you're just like this all day long, I went to a face massage woman and she's just like, your muscle, because I'm like, I have a double chin now. What happened to me? I didn't gain that much weight. And she's like, no, your muscle, you've something with restricted the growth of your muscle and it's shortened and you need to elongate it. And so that facial exercise, and also if you're staring down at your phone or you're reading or you're doing things where you're like this a lot and not like this with a posture like this, you're gonna see that reflected right here in this little area. But the Gua Sha, for example, it's not exercising it, it's more of creating a flow and it's creating like circulation and drainage of your lymphatic system. So I think of them in very different ways where I think they're both really essential. This is a small plug that we will be launching a course this year. Fingers crossed it happens this year, but I think it will in Q3 for going over Gua Sha, face exercise, face yoga, face massage, all of the things, and really incorporating all of these different modalities for skin transformation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully that helps.
So I answered it for me. And I would have said the same thing. They just are kind of doing different things in the skin. So I think incorporating the Gua Sha in conjunction with facial exercise or facial yoga, if you do facial yoga,
Mhm.
is ideal.
Need them both. And so I'm reading a question right now. How can it help with double chin? I think this is what we're talking about.
Mhm.
It's not going to completely remove any double chins, but if you're doing your drainage and you're doing your lymphatic drainage throughout every day, We have a team member here who's like really, I don't know if she's on the call right now, but she's really working on her lymphatic drainage right now, and she's feeling the effects, and you will feel them for a little bit. But doing that every single day and then going into your chin area. So using your fingers like a light sweeping motion and then doing your exercise maybe 30 times and then finishing with your Gua Sha and then do your whole face. All of those together will give you some really amazing results.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I'm looking to see if there are any other really pressing questions.
Yeah. Let's dive into the third giveaway while you're looking at those questions. So,
Yeah.
this is our last giveaway. We're giving away a Gua Sha stone, a full-size serum, and a full-size oil. So kind of your complete little thing for your routine. And we're doing this because we think it is so important to use our products with the Gua Sha stone for amazing results. Um, okay, so the question here is, what's your favorite self-care ritual? And you can describe it any way you like. What do you typically do? Do you do face massage, face yoga, face exercise? Which serum do you use? Which oil do you use? What is your ritual? Plug it in the chat, and we will choose one winner to win the Gua Sha Stone with your favorite facial serum and your favorite facial oil.
This is such a like big giveaway. I'm super excited.
They're all
Well,
full size. Yeah.
yeah. So we're doing a full size serum, a full size oil, right? And then the Gua Sha. Like really getting you started with a little routine here. Or restocking if you are already a big fan. There was one question that I saw, and this was kind of the last one that I saw while everybody's throwing their answers in here, which was like, how do I depuff under the eyes? And we did get into that, and so you might have missed part of it, but to be just really succinct, just like taking this beautiful curve of the stone here and gently moving up and out under the eye area. And I'm honoring the orbital bone when I do this. I'm not getting right up to the lash line. I'm just kind of right under here. And this is a pretty great way to reduce the puffiness. And I think I mentioned at some point, like there are lots of mornings where I just do that. I'm getting ready. I don't have a ton of time. I might do a little bit of feathering in between my brow, and then I'm kind of moving my stone up and out with the tool there. So
I love that. I'm loving all these answers. This one is, hold on, wait, where'd it go? It's all coming in so quickly.
I know.
With a bath and music and their favorite drink and salts and oils. I want that right now. Sauna. These are all great. Oh, I did want to mention we were talking about oiling and washing, and if you wash it off. Sometimes what's really nice to do is I use our restorative cleansing oil in the bath and then I gua sha. So it's in the bath, it's part of my cleansing routine, but it is an oil and I can wash it off and I'll wash it with a washcloth. And so if you are wanting to do something where you wash it off after, that's a really good option as well.
I'm seeing a lot of answers with the dry brushing, skin
I
brushing.
just started dry brushing again and it feels really nice because it's also doing that lymphatic drainage. And I started
Mhm.
using our face brush as a dry brush instead.
Mm.
And it feels
Mm.
really good. And I'll do it and then I'll do the resurfacing facial exfoliant, which might be
Mm.
taboo because it's a lot of exfoliation, but it feels really, really good.
Cool.
If anyone has our facial brush, I would suggest trying it as a dry brush as well.
Sometimes it's on my desk. It's not right now. Oh, lighting a candle. Wow, everyone is taking good care of themselves.
I love that. Sorry, Grace, I'm giving a little bit more time.
No, that's okay. They're still coming in.
Yeah, we still have people joining. This is wild. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and pick one.
First, I must say that these routines are fabulous.
Let's
I'm
pick
getting
two.
inspired just reading them.
Pick two.
Pick two?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's so
okay.
many.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me announce one and then I'll go back through. Our first winner is Meredith Brand. So yay, Meredith. I will message you for your email and then I will email you after the call for next steps. But yeah, if you want to give me your email, that would be amazing. And then I'll go back in for the second winner. Just give me
Yeah.
1 second.
Take a minute, take your time. Any other questions that are coming through? We have about 1 minute left. We'll pick the winner and we'll answer these questions in the meantime. Congratulations, Meredith. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, that's exciting. I did see somebody asked if you can store the gua sha in the fridge. You can. It's gonna keep it pretty chilly. I find that especially this time of year, leaving it just out at room temperature, it naturally tends to like lean a little bit cold, but you can store it in the fridge. It's not wrong to store it in the fridge. It just depends on how much cold you want on your face.
That'd be very cold, yeah. That's true.
Hmm.
Any other questions that anybody has? I just want to call out really quick while Grace is choosing this winner that Kate and I are going to start leading a lot of different live events and live calls. So if you're new to seeing these, if you've been on a few and you're loving them, we're going to start doing at least 2 a month, hopefully 3 a month, where we're going to be talking about activated ingredients. We're going to talk about tutorials, different products, different rituals, spring cleaning, detoxification, things
Yeah.
like that. Kate, do you want to add anything there?
I mean, I think that that covered it. It's these are just opportunities for you to dive in, to explore a little bit more, to kind of round out your routine. And it's also really fun for us because we get to share some knowledge. We oftentimes are doing really fun giveaways like we're doing in this call here, special discounts, things like that. And then I'll do the shameless plug for the consultations. We lead consultations. Emily, I don't know if you want to wave. Yeah, throughout the week. And so if you really want a thorough dive into your routine, into your like yeah, what is best for your skin, all of that, then please join us on a consultation. We like the time to get into the like more complicated questions and like talk about a full routine for you. So please join us. Emily's shared a link there. So
Awesome. And I know we're over time, but I want to answer a couple of these questions right after Grace chooses a winner. And while Grace is choosing that winner, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to plug in the link for the events if you do want to join our events so you can see what's happening this quarter. Grace, do you want to go ahead and choose a winner?
Yes, so our last and final winner is Deborah Richardson. So yay, Deborah. Same as before, if you can if you can message me your email, that would be lovely. And then I'll email you after the call for next steps. But yay, Deborah.
Amazing. Thank you. Congrats, Deborah. Yay. Okay, somebody just asked, they just had microneedling done for the first time. Are you okay to use Brighten Elixir right away? If it is the true microneedling where you had to get numb and it really, really dug into your skin, I would wait. I think it's 24 to 46, 48 hours. Maybe it's 2 to 3 days to put any oil on your skin. You want to use something that is very low in oil because you don't want to see any sort of reaction. I'm speaking from firsthand. I had it done and I was told not to use any oil. I would use the hydrate that has the collagen prepeptides. It's an aqueous formula. It doesn't have any oil in it. I would say just slather that on your skin morning and night, like consistently the first 24 to 48 hours, and then you can start incorporating other things. Yes, you're welcome. If it's not the really intense one where you had to get numbed, you might be okay with it. I would still wait at least 12 hours personally, but yeah, that's just for that. Somebody else asked where we based out of. I want to just say we're everywhere. We're a remote team. I'm in Nevada City, California. Kate's in Kansas. We have team members everywhere. We don't have one central location. So we're all over.
yeah.
And another person asked, can you suggest something that works for the jawlines? If you missed this tutorial, we're going to be sending it out, but we went over a lot of cool exercises and ways to use your Gua Sha stone for your jawline specifically. So I will say that. Okay. Why is my Gua Sha stone a different shape? So we had ours custom designed for Annmarie skincare. I actually worked with a vendor in a province, a small town in China, for harvesting the nephrite jade and constructing them in a way that we wanted. And I had mentioned earlier in the call that I'm a little bit of a fanatic for just massage and beauty and all the things. And I guess I have a good job for that. So that's good. But what that entailed was researching a lot of different gua sha stones and benefits of certain shapes and contours and creating something that had all of the things combined that we can launch. So I just wanted to mention that. What am I missing, Kate? Anything here?
I think we covered so many things. Yeah, maybe we'll share the coupon code one more time for those who maybe have joined since. Grace, if you want to put that in the chat, because I'll read it. Yeah, cool. So the code is ASC Live 23 for 20% off, and that is good for the Jade's what is this? Gua Sha. I almost said stone roller. It's not. The Gua Sha, 20% off of this and or your facial oils. So your preferred facial oil, 20% off of that preferred facial oil. So great time to shop. We do ship to Canada, Christy.
Oh,
Yes.
someone asked where in China. It's in Henan, China. So my dad actually used to live in China. I went to visit him and kind of traveled around with him. And so he went to this family and found them, and it's a fourth generation family who makes Gua Sha stone. So that is where in China.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Yeah. And if you have any other questions, feel free to email us at customer support. We'll get them answered for you. But otherwise, happy shopping. We're excited for you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.